And then I decided to run, and I said, one person I know I have is Nikki. I have Nikki Haley, Tricky Nikki. Then she comes over to see me at Mar-a-Lago. Sir, I will never run against you. She brought her husband. Where's her husband? Oh, he's away. He's away. What happened to her husband? What happened to her husband? Where is he? He's gone. He knew. He knew.
He knew what? Like, what? All right, well, that was former President Donald Trump, who also happens to be a well-known Vietnam War draft dodger, deciding to go to war with Nikki Haley and her husband, who, by the way, is currently serving a year-long deployment in Africa, so that's where he is. Oops. Michael Haley began a year-long stint in June with the South Carolina Army National Guard. Haley is being deployed as a staff officer with the 218th Maneuver Enhancement Brigade, which the National Guard says is providing support in the Horn of Africa. Now, the joke Trump made didn't really land well, especially with Nikki Haley. Haley, who was also campaigning in South Carolina over the weekend, responded to Trump during her own rally. Let's watch.
So I'll say this. I need to start with the fact that Donald Trump had a rally today. And in that rally, he mocked my husband's military service. And I'll say this. Donald, if you have something to say, don't say it behind my back. Get on a debate stage and say it to my face. If you mock the service of a combat veteran, you don't deserve a driver's license, let alone being president of the United States.
And you can tell she was really upset with what Trump had to say, because she later went on Fox News to elaborate on how much she hated his comments. So let's just watch one more video.
It's disgusting. I mean, every bit of it's disgusting. You know, to sit there and mock my husband for not being with me on the presidential trail because he is deployed and serving our country. You mock one veteran, you're mocking all veterans. But this is a pattern, Dana. He's done this over and over again. Whether he went and calls military members suckers, whether he was at Arlington Cemetery saying what was in it for them, why would they do this? The problem with Trump is he's never been anywhere near a uniform. He apparently had some sort of foot reason that he says he couldn't do that. But the reality is the closest he's come to harm's way is a golf ball hitting him on a golf cart. These men and women sacrifice for us every day. They're willing to shed blood. That's the values that made this country great. And anybody that excuses what he continues to say against the military is hugely mistaken, because this is going to be the president of the United States. We have to start doing more to help our veterans. They don't get the due they deserve. They don't get taken care of. We've got to start watching out for them. You can't do that if you've got a commander-in-chief that disrespects them. Those are fighting words for the military.
We might have millions of people watching this show, but you can be the difference maker, because we just need 1% of our audience to be paid members, and then this show can be around forever. So you can make that difference. Click join now.
Does anyone really care about the candidates' spouses appearing alongside them at campaign events? Like, why is this even an issue? Is Nikki Haley's husband running for president? Is Melania Trump running for president? Because Donald Trump has gotten a lot of criticism due to the fact that Melania Trump has kind of abandoned him during this particular campaign.
Did she hit his hand again? Swat it away like she does from time to time?
Maybe, but who cares? She's not running for president.
Yeah.
Why do we need to hear from her? Why do we need to see her? Same with Nikki Haley's husband. Who cares?
I think the only spouse that's relevant out of everyone in this mix is Dr. Jill Biden, because Joe Biden listens to her completely, and apparently she's also an egomaniac and told him to. She says she's the only one that Biden listens to, and Biden is obviously staying in a race he has no business in, and he's deeply, deeply unpopular. Dr. Jill Biden must be telling him, "Oh, champ, you got this. I want to stay in the White House longer. Yeah, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead."
We don't know.
We don't know, but I mean that. She's certainly not talking him out of it, and everybody else is trying to talk him out of it. Anyways, but Melania has zero effect on Trump. Totally not relevant. Okay. They're not in the same room. They hate each other. It's so obvious they hate each other, right? So is that a surprise to MAGA? You're not surprised by that, right?
They went to her mother's funeral in separate vehicles.
Yeah, and
That's
and are you
crazy.
surprised? He's Donald Trump who buried his first wife on a golf course for a tax break.
Okay.
Where do you think he's going to bury Melania if it ever comes to that?
But
Anyways,
again, I just want to emphasize, I don't care about their marriage dynamic at all.
That's where I'm getting at. So with Nikki Haley, I don't care where her husband is, and he's off doing his service. God bless, no problem, right? I don't give it plus. I don't give it. Oh, her husband is in the armed services and is serving now, and that's why her policy on Israel being allowed to bomb Gaza as long as they like is a good one. Wait, what? No, what her husband does for a living has nothing to do with her policies, and you should be voting based on policies, not theatrics like this. But it is true that the only relevant part of this story is Trump criticizing someone in the armed services. Come on, brother. I mean, your nickname is Commander Bone Spurs.
But also, look, I gotta say, I didn't hear Nikki Haley speak out once when those reports came out in regard to Donald Trump calling our fallen soldiers suckers and losers.
Yeah, that's when she was kissing his ass. And
now all
because
of
she's
a sudden,
a greasy politician.
Yeah, now all of a sudden she mentions it.
And by the way, it'll get worse because just like with Ted Cruz, she'll probably be back to polishing his boots in a couple of months.
100%.
Remember when Ted Cruz was like, Donald, you keep my wife's name out of this? Because Trump had implied that his wife was ugly. And what was Cruz doing a couple months later? Is this shiny enough, boss? Is this shiny enough? And that's what Nikki Haley will be doing. So yeah. Go ahead and do your theatrics now. But my favorite part of this whole thing is when back in the day, someone asked Donald Trump, hey, you got out of Vietnam because you had bone spurs, you claim. Which foot was it in? And he's like, could have been both.
I remember that.
Could have been.
Jesus Christ. Man.
Could have been both. MAGA, he's so strong. He's so tough. Oh, he would protect you. Are you kidding me? If there was any kind of danger, he's the first one out the door. And he'd line up 100 of you to protect him while he hid in a little corner. He's never taken a single risk with his life. And he thinks that's why he called people that went into the army and military suckers and losers. He's like, you go die for me, I'm rich, you're not.
Finally, Michael Haley has weighed in on the matter, sharing a meme on X. The difference between humans and animals would never allow the dumbest ones to lead the pack. But wasn't your wife the UN ambassador under the Trump administration?
So what kind of animal follows the dumbest animal?
Peter Griffin.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.